So what happens is that now you create this barrier of who you authentically are to be this person that you think you need to be this shell of the best version of you. And what happens, and the deeper part of that you start to resent you, because it's impossible for you to be the most authentic you. It's impossible for you to love you fully if all you're doing is living to please people. If I were to ask you, what's that mountain in your life? Like, what's that thing that you seem to never be able to move? That thing that you seem to never get over? The thing that has become an identifying factor as to why you do the things you do? Or worse, the identifying factor as to why you don't do the things that you can do, the things that you want to do. It's the relationship cycles that we keep repeating. The same type of people, the same type of thing, and the same type of person, and we blame that mountain. We say, well, somebody did this to me at one point in my life, and I'm never going to trust a person because of the type of relationship I was in. We tie that into our finances, right? We never say that we can do the next thing because we have been taught terrible things in our lives. So the way that we look at our finances is a mountain. We say, I can't get out of this hole because I've become so used to this particular thing, the way I live my life, the thing that I created a part of my habits or my cultural life. These things are things that stay in that reality, and we don't move because it becomes a mountain. We say, I can't get through this because I've become so used to it. It could be a career, right? You've dug yourself into a hole so long that you think that this is the only thing that you will ever know. You think that this is the only place that you'll ever grow out of, and that's become your mountain. Whatever that particular thing is, whatever the stage, the goal here in this podcast is to, one, identify that, because you can't heal. You will never be able to change or grow through the thing that you refuse to identify, the thing that you refuse to say, hey, this is my mountain. This is the struggle. This is the thing that's in front of me. You can't make that mountain move without actually diving into that, without actually identifying it, without actually saying, look, you are here and I'm commanding you to move. This is why you're tired. This is why you feel stuck. This is why you're going through all these things. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're broken. It's not that you don't have it in you. It's just that you've allowed this mountain in your life to be so prevalent that it controls every aspect of it. Now, for me, this is tied into a faith thing, right? Because again, I'm Dominican, so I grew up in a Dominican household, and my grandmother always lo que tú haces con fe, la cosa que haces con fe, the things that you do in faith, when you act in faith. And whether you are coming from a faith-based background or not, there's so much authority in that. There's so much power in knowing that when I move in faith, I trust that the thing that I'm moving into, that I'm doing the work, because that's also a tie off. We think that when we move in faith or we move in trust, that the things have to happen to us. They're not going to happen to you or for you. You have to do the work, right? That's actually the biggest part of faith, is trusting that I do the work and the thing is going to come towards me. I do the healing, I go through the process, and that thing that I identified as a mountain comes for me. It works for me and my behalf. And for me, that's, again, a faith-based thing, but it doesn't have to necessarily be for you. If that's not something that you're aligned with, that's okay. Understanding that moving in faith is, yes, again, for me, for God, but it could also be this reality that I trust the things that I've done, the work that I've done, that I've trust the healing that I've gone through, that I've identified this mountain, that I've told it to move, and I trusted that it moved. Knowing that this thing here is able to be a catalyst as a part of the story that so many of us are scared to share. So many of us are afraid to actually identify. And let's be honest, it's scary to confront the mountain in front of you. It's scary to say this thing that I've been stuck with, this thing that's become a part of my life, this wound that I've been dealing with for so long. It's scary to say that I need to face it so that it can leave. It's scary to think that this next process of you is going to require you to do the scary thing. It's going to require you to be in this. And our invitation with this, right? And I know this first episode, and we're just kind of introducing this mountain and what healing looks like, and what mental health looks like, and what addressing these things look like. And we're going to have these amazing conversations with people who have lived through mountains and have these amazing success stories. I have some amazing friends that have done just things that I'm just always in awe and shock of. But first, before any of that, we need to be able to expand and understand us. Like, what is our mountain? What is that thing? And I know everyone, every person, every human person that lives has something. There is an existence, a reality of a mountain that someone is going through. Whether you're the most perfect person ever, right? You have no struggles. That's amazing. That's good for you. But every human has something at some core, whether you want to admit it or not. There is something that stops us from being the fullness of us, and this is the scary part to this. I think it's a good part, but it's also a scary part, scary reality, that even when you identify a mountain, there's another one. And but the process becomes easier, right? Because now I've been able to identify this, and I've been able to pinpoint this and grow and use this to expand and to become the best version of me. So this next thing that I'm going to confront, it doesn't seem like a challenge. It actually seems exciting. It changes the perspective of how we see things, because a lot of us struggle with pain because we haven't turned it into purpose. We haven't been able to identify the thing that's killing us and then use it for our own catalyst. We haven't been able to see the thing that has been terrible in our lives and then used it to promote and to grow the good things in our lives. So being able to understand what your mountain is or what your mountains are and identifying those things to grow through them. We need to know who we need to become to climb it, because this is the process of this, right? Identifying who I authentically am, not who I've been told to be. And again, these are things that tie into so many aspects: cultural, social, or organizational, all these things, right? We grew up in certain classes that told us, especially for me, right? Again, this is a Latino based thing. And for me, I'm always going to touch base on that because our culture is a huge indication of the things that we think that we can do, the things that we can't do. Like, growing up, my grandfather would go to work at like 5 in the morning to go and support this family of his. And the way that he showed love, the way he showed his actually care is asking si comiste, if you ate something, if there was food in the fridge, and identified those things. So culturally, for a lot of Latinos at least, we think that the way that we show our success, our love, our growth is through working to the point of burnout, to working to the point where I think that the only way I can show you that I love you is not necessarily by saying it, but it's by doing certain things that are out of the way and obscure, but beneficial to the whole family. Culturally, for a lot of us, we've limited our actions and our growth based on the things that are in that environment. Socially, we think that the way that we need to be interacted with or seen has to be through this lens of success, social success. What does that look like? And looking at things that people are doing in this world and thinking that we need to identify ourselves with that. So what happens is that now you create this barrier of who you authentically are to be this person that you think you need to be the shell of the best version of you. And what happens, and the deeper part of that, that you start to resent you, because it's impossible for you to be the most authentic you. It's impossible for you to love you fully if all you're doing is living to please people. Your mountain in that case is that, is the identity of loving yourself only through the eyes and the lens of other people and their approval and their love. And to be honest, that's a huge one for a lot of us. I don't think there's a person in this world. I mean, okay, let's reframe that. There are a few people in this world who have done the work to heal and to grow and consistently do the work, because healing is a lifelong process. It's not something that we're going to sit here through a podcast episode and be walk out of this completely healed and fixed and there's no problem. No, you're always going to have to remind yourself. You're going to have to rewire your brain. You're going to have to grow through these things that you're going through so that you can actually authentically heal. There's few people that would be in this process and have this all figured out. We see ourselves through the lens of how we've allowed other people to love us. We see ourselves through the things that we've allowed people to say and to create in us. So our mountains for a lot of us is not necessarily the things that we have to overcome, but it's in our mind at least. It's the lens of the way that we've seen people see us. And I need you to understand that people struggle to love themselves. Like, other people struggle to love themselves. What makes you think that their love and validation is going to make you love you more? If your mountain is that, if your mountain is the perception of how people see you, it's the lack of understanding of that, you're going to struggle. We're going to stay in this. So being able to identify one that I don't need other people to love me, that I'm good the way I am, that the things in me were intrinsically good, that it was made for purpose, and that there's something beautiful in that allows us to authentically be the real us. And when we talk about addressing the mountains, the little mountain in front of you right now, because this is the reality, right? I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we have so many other episodes that we'll be able to really spend on like just the mind alone, just the brain alone. But there's something called neuroplasticity in your brain, that your brain is wired literally to survive. So what happens is that you reframe that by your frame of thought and your frame of work. Your brain starts to learn what it was made for. Why I call this a small mountain in this process, because this is actually one of the easiest things for you to overcome. It's a process of identifying what's real and what's not, and saying to yourself, is this something that's actually worth weight in my life, or is this something that I'm just repeating because I've been conditioned, because my brain is conditioned to repeat this. Neuroplasticity is the rewiring of your brain. It's rewiring of the things that you do, or the exercises that you create, or the instruments that you play, but also the words that you believe. What you constantly say in your life is the one thing that's going to stick. And if every day you are looking to please someone else, then I promise you, the only way you're going to live your life is trying to please them, because you've conditioned it. That little mountain in front of you, this is an easy one. And then this is the start to all this. But being able to speak to yourself accordingly, like not speaking to yourself from the stage of what you think people want to see or say, but being able to identify who you are despite those people, despite that aspect. That's your first mountain. So things that we need to expand on here, like as we dive through this, that's just like just this intrinsic portion, is that there's a difference between motion and movement. Like a lot of people are doing a lot of things and getting nowhere. You can run back and forth in a straight line, side to side, and not move anywhere. You can do all these things and nothing is going to change, because just because you're loud, it doesn't mean that you're healed. Just because you seem to have motion doesn't mean that you're actually moving. There's nothing actually changing. And you can do a lot and be tired and nothing changed. This is why a lot of people are stuck, right? Because they're doing all these things. And like I said before, they're in burnout, right? They're doing all these things. They're running around. They have all these actions. They're trying to seem as if they are together or healed, and trying to convince themselves of it, but not actually doing anything. When we understand, we identify this reality that I need to move in progress, and progress could be slow. I need you to understand that there is no actual race. Life is ending regardless, right? You're gonna, the one thing we're guaranteed, to quote Benjamin Franklin, is death and taxes. Those are the things that you're guaranteed in this world. Life is moving. So you're not in a race with anyone. You're not in competition with anyone. You don't have to have it all figured out before they do. But you do need to have some level of motion. Slow motion is okay. It's a process. It's one of those things that, using this mountain analogy again, that eventually is going to pick up speed and roll down this mountain. But being able to understand that we need forward motion, not lateral motion, where we don't need to move to the sides. We need to move forward, right? It's changing and picking the things that I know are going to be small changes, but are going to have a huge impact. They're going to have this change in my life that are going to identify everything else. And sometimes this is going to hurt to hear, but sometimes it's simply removing yourself from the environment you're in. Like moving yourself from this position of being around certain people or being around certain things that you feel like you have to be different to be loved in, that you have to act differently, or change your perspective, or change how you say or do things because you think that you're going to offend people around you. I need you to understand that you would never, ever be the most authentic you pretending to be anything else. And if you have to pretend, then at some point you're going to have to learn to hate you so that you can remain in places where you're quote unquote loved. Staying in places where people are seeing you as something else. The reality is that for a lot of us, we're not moving. We're not moving forward because we think that doing a lot in a small space is changing anything, but it's not. It's doing a little bit as you move forward. That's what's going to make the total difference. This is what's going to make this catalyst between this mountain that you're in and the movement that you progress through it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to listen to this podcast today and tomorrow have it all figured out. That's not how this works. And I also think that's a very toxic culture, that we think, especially with social media, we think that we can just work our way through our problems, when sometimes we need to sit down with them. We need to unpack them. We need to really be able to identify them before we say anything else, because we can't change what we don't identify. We will never be able to change a thing. So if we're moving, we're doing all these things and nothing is progressing, then we need to understand that maybe our movement is just that. It's just motion. It's not actual progressive movement. We're not actually changing. And sometimes, again, the environment that you're in is too toxic for you to grow. It's too unhealed for you to grow. It's okay to remove yourself from places where you are not valued and where you're not growing, where you're not being fed, because you can move a lot, but nothing is going to change. There's hidden strength in the seated faith, in the little things that you do. Like, again, for me, faith is a faith based thing. It's understanding that there's a God in my life that I trust fully, and that I do the things knowing that He's gonna act. But here's the thing. This is one of the things that annoys me. Again, whether you're coming from a faith based position or not, this is just a thing that we need to understand. There is a lie that is culturally understood, and in the Christian world understood, and just, again, social dynamics understood. There's this lie that we believe that if something was meant for us, that it's guaranteed for us. That no matter what you do, that thing is guaranteed. I need you to understand that that's a lie. Yes, it could be meant for you, but if you do not do the work that's disciplined and required to keep it, that thing that's quote unquote meant for you is not meant for you, because you are not doing the things that are sustainable for you. You can't say that you desire a mansion, but you refuse to do the work that's going to cause you to at least pay off the taxes, right? You can't say that you want a brand new car, but you refuse to learn how to drive. You can't say you want these things, but you're not doing the little things. Again, there's a pattern here. If you haven't noticed it, and hopefully you will at some point, that the little things are significant. We can't say that we want things, that things are meant for us, but we refuse to become the people that are deserving of it. You cannot say, again, I'm in the gym, I'm working, I'm trying. We're coming back. We're making a season of comeback here. Watch by the end of the season, we're gonna have a whole different build over here. We're gonna have maybe a pack, not a six pack, but something's gonna happen. But I can't say that I desire to lose weight and to get fit and to be healthy, but refuse to go to the gym. Right? Yes, it's meant for me. The best version of me is that person. The best version of me is the person that regularly stays in that routine and doesn't break it after a couple of months of other things, but is a person that remains in that thing. Why? Because yes, it's meant for me, but I'm meant to be a part of it. I can't say something is meant for me and I refuse to work on it. And this ties into everything. That's like marriages or relationships. I can't say I want a healthy marriage, but I'm not doing the work to upkeep that. I can't say I want a healthy career life, but I'm not showing up for work. Yes, it's meant for you. I want to be clear. Goodness is meant for you. There are great things that are meant for you. But just because it's meant for you doesn't mean that you're not meant to work in it. Doesn't mean that you're not meant to be a part of it. All blessings, all gifting, all faith, everything comes by a fruit of work. You can't say the seed of faith that is meant for you, but you didn't plant it. You cannot expect these things to happen where there is no work. Yes, it's meant for you, but it doesn't relinquish you from the work that was required to be a part of it. And that's actually the beauty, that the things that are meant for you, the things that are going to grow, the things that you're going to expand on, this next stage of your life, the beauty is actually found in the effort that you put, the work that you do, the reality that you were meant to be a part of this, but you have to do the work. You can't expect it. So that's a big takeaway for a lot of us, that we've conditioned ourselves, or we've allowed the societal norms to condition us to think that if it was meant for you, that's going to happen. Yeah, it's meant for you, but it's not going to happen without you. I mentioned this before, and I think this is a huge portion of this. And maybe this is an exercise that you can do today on your own, but naming the mountain is the first step to the freedom of it. Like being able to identify the thing that is in front of me, the thing that I'm struggling with, that thing, knowing its name, calling it out by its name, and knowing that I'm going to defeat this thing. That's the biggest step. Knowing that this mountain that you're in is the thing that you are able to step into and destroy, because you know it, because you saw it, because you can name it. And when you can name something, this is why, first of all, names are so important. There's so much power in a name. But when you're able to name something, you can also name its origin. You can name the root of where it's coming from, the cause of the problem. You're able to name why you're stuck in this thing. Knowing this particular thing, being able to say, this is my mountain, this is my struggle, now allows you to say, but why? Where does this come from? What wound is this in my life? Where is this that I need to address and change? And knowing that now you can change that thing by knowing where it started, going back to that point. Because we need to understand that healing does not mean that you return to the wound, but it means that you learn to grow and build out of it. It means that you use the thing that was meant to kill you and you create that thing into the best part of the story. You're saying that this thing that was a mountain in my life is now the reason why I'm at the mountaintop, because I was able to stand on it. I was able to grow from it. And I think that a lot of us struggle with this particular portion of our lives. We struggle with moving past things. We struggle with healing. We struggle with that progress because we've created this almost glass ceiling that we say that yes, I can do all these amazing things, that I have all this gifting and all this purpose until I get to this point, until this childhood wound comes up, until this breakup comes up, until this identity crisis comes up, until this part of me that I can't heal, that I feel hurt, and until that part comes up, that's my limit. That's where I can't do anything else. And I need you to understand that that is a lie. That is one of the greatest lies that a lot of us have believed. We believe that our limits are limited by our wounds. We think that the things that we're in, that the progress that we're making or lack thereof, is only identified by the things that have been done to me, by the person that I've been told I have to be. You have this amazing freedom. There's so much gifting and understanding that you are not limited to your wounds. And being able to work through these, right? Identifying that thing and saying it, calling it by its name, is being able to know that this woundedness, this thing that I've been stuck with, is not me. It's not who I am. It's not the place that I'm in, knowing that I'm able to identify that wound, and now I'm able to grow and heal and grow through it. Because again, it's not about changing it. Where we can't change the past. You can't keep dwelling on the things that have happened and expect to be happy today. You can't keep reliving the same pain and then getting mad at the fact that you're living it now. You're going back to that thing, and it's become a stumbling block for a lot of us. It's become the biggest mountain that we have because we keep going to the base of the mountain and staring at how huge this thing is. And I am a very big person on imagery, and I do want you to imagine that this is a reality, that we go to the base of this where it happened and we look up and we say, wow, because of this I can't get over this mountain that I'm in. It's never going to change because of that one time that that thing was said to me, or the multiple times that that thing was said to me, the thing that I'm stuck in, that this thing stops me from being the best me. I know that it's tough sometimes to address, and that's the goal with this podcast, right? Being able to yes, we're not going to fix it today, or maybe it might be a good start today, but being able to work through this, to know, one, that you're not alone, that there's people that we're going to talk to that have struggled through amazing things and have made amazing things out of it, that there's a lot of ways to work through this, that there's other ways that maybe we haven't tried before, but we know that a consistent effort is what changes this thing. Because another analogy that I use often whenever I talk about mountains, this is not the first time I've talked about mountains. I'm an avid hiker. I love hiking. I love being outdoors. And I remember that I was in these mountains in Arizona, and as I'm hiking through, no one was there, right? The complete camp was like abandoned because it was like forest fires, but I came all the way here to hike. So I drove around the cones like an idiot. And I remember I was hiking and it was 112 degrees, and I was, at this point I was exhausted and drained, and I really wanted to find this trail. And I started hiking up the mountain. I jumped off the side of one, and my leg kind of missed the ledge, and I began to fall down the side of this mountain. My whole stomach was just cut up and bleeding, and like my chin was bleeding, and all these things. And I what happened was that I hit a branch, and the branch wedged in between two rocks and stopped me from dying. Yes, I found the trail. Yes, I'm alive. Because obviously, if I was a ghost, this would be really weird. But I remember in that moment just thinking of the fact that I nearly died because I was trying to find the easy route. I was trying to find a shortcut to the thing. I need you to understand that sometimes there is no shortcut. That the only way we heal, the only way we grow, the only way we get to that amazing trail, despite the difficulties, is by taking the long path. And there is so much beauty in being able to see everything that that path has to offer. For some people, we think that there needs to be a quick fix. We think that this healing stages, this mountain of mine, that there is an easy trail. And sometimes, depending on the mountain and the things that the person and the things that they've gone through, sometimes, yeah, we can say that there is quote unquote an easy trail for them. But there's still things in other mountains that we have to start at the base, and go the long route and enjoy the scenic view. So our goal here is that our goal is to be able to identify that mountain, being able to know that you don't have to have it all figured out today, that it doesn't have to be perfect, that there is no need for you to feel like everything is just exactly how it should be. It's okay to live in the chaos sometimes, that it's okay to be able to unpack those things and understand that yes, chaos is a part of the story. We need to know that just because we're doing a bunch of things doesn't mean we're changing everything. And being able to identify that mountain is what's going to help us. And as we unpack this series, first of all, thank you for even listening to this episode, for being a part of this. But as we unpack this series, as we go through all this, we need to be able to just identify the mountain and grow through it. And identify multiple, again, there are multiple mountains that we'll see. And if sometimes you just need to start with the little one, the one right in front of you, the simple one, that seems conquerable, then start with that one. But if you feel like you need to start with the biggest one, start with it. We'll have people who have lived every aspect and every experience and be able to help us and tell us those things. But being able to identify that is always going to be the biggest thing we do. Knowing that movement is only going to come from effort. Knowing that change is only going to come from the things that I do. And knowing that my work is a part of my gifting. Like the things that are quote unquote meant for me again. All these things come from that aspect.